everybody, and welcome in to Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trade. I'm your host, Trade. It is Friday. Finally, it's Friday. A great Friday. A great Friday, July 19th, here in the great state of Wisconsin, or wherever you are tuning in right now. I hope it's a fantastic Friday there, too. Lots of good stuff happening this weekend. Baseball is finally back. I mean, we watched the All-Star game. I never touched into the All-Star game, so I want to talk about that a little bit today, what I thought about the All-Star game. But, I mean, we had the All-Star game, and the MLB draft, the home run derby, all that happening, and we've been without a little bit of baseball consistently here. I haven't, you get into baseball season, and, like college basketball season, I can always find another college basketball game, right? You get in, or the NBA, you get into modes, right? During the summer, there's not a lot of things that you can watch on the TV, right? Most of your new television shows, they aren't bringing out new episodes until the fall, whatever it is. So you're in that period where it's like, when the Brewers aren't on, what do you turn on the TV? I was in that mode this week. I turned on the TV. I'm like, what am I going to watch today? I got myself watching the weather. I got myself watching this and that. I watched somebody cook a whole hog tonight. He was injecting it with like orange juice and all kinds of stuff like that. It was pretty interesting to watch. But I was like, man, oh man, without baseball, I don't know what the heck I'm supposed to do. So baseball is back this weekend. Cannot wait to watch a little bit of Brewers, hopefully a little bit of Brewers magic, and slowly lead themselves towards the postseason here, and hopefully a longer stay in the postseason than what we've seen in the, last couple seasons there. I want a little bit of a 2018 magic again. This time, make it to the World Series, right? That's what we're hoping for. That's always the hope there. So with that, let's get into today. We got more Brewers to talk about here as we lead into the weekend there. Also, a little bit of news coming out of a couple different areas. So right away, I want to look at the first topic. That was Randall Cobb. News broke yesterday that Randall Cobb was retiring from the NFL, and he was set to join SEC Network as a studio analyst. Now, if everybody knows about Cobb playing in Green Bay, that was his longest stay in the NFL. It looks like he's going to appear on select editions of SEC Now throughout the fall, and will also join Alyssa Lang on Out of the Pocket, presented by Academy Sports. Outdoors to fuse football and fun each week. That's what it's described as there. So that broke out there. We found out Randall Cobb is gonna be working for SEC Network. He played at Kentucky, so it kind of makes sense, I guess, in that realm of things. But then another report came out, this one from local reports, and, Randall Cobb's Twitter account himself there, after Ian Rappaport said that Randall Cobb was walking away from football after 13 seasons and joining the broadcasting booth. Randall Cobb came back and he said, not officially retired, but I'm excited for the new opportunity. Catch me on and Alyssa Lang on Out of the Pocket Wednesdays on SEC Network. So basically a little stir in the information there. Randall Cobb hasn't officially retired now. Is he technically most likely retired? Yes, but he hasn't officially retired from the NFL. He is just currently pursuing a different path, and now will join the broadcast booth. I don't foresee him coming back and playing anymore. People have done it. Crazier things have happened, right? I mean, Tom Brady retired. Brett Favre technically retired, right? We've seen guys retire and come back. Michael Jordan left and went to baseball and then came back to basketball, right? He just didn't know when to quit. I mean, we've seen it before. And, maybe it happens. Maybe he comes back, but I don't see it. I really don't see Randall Cobb coming back to the field. It would be a really special circumstance, I would say. I don't think Rodgers wants him in New York. Otherwise, he'd probably already be there. So my guess is that we have seen the last of Randall Cobb on the field, but it's exciting. It's exciting to see him getting to pursue his next role, and that being with SEC Network there as a college football studio analyst there. So good stuff. Great for Randall Cobb. Great for his family. great news. The last news that we heard about Randall Cobb was his garage starting on fire because of his car. So this is, I mean, better news than what we reported the last time when we were talking about Randall Cobb there. So good stuff there coming out of the NFL, old Packers, Randall Cobb news, whatever you want to call it there. But in other news, and this flips it to the hardwood here. This flips it to the Bucks. This is looking at Chris Middleton here. And apparently he has undergone surgeries on both ankles this offseason. He's expected to be ready for the start of next season, but I mean, it's pretty big. They're kind of making it seem like it's not that big of a deal, right? From what I could gather from this whole every article that I've read is like, we're trying to not make this seem like it's a bigger deal. And yeah, the timetable and everything else, everything says that, what happened to the surgeries, what the doctors have said, everything points towards Chris Middleton will be ready for the regular season. What makes you nervous is he's had surgery on two ankles, not just one ankle, both ankles. Like that can make a fan nervous right there. So that was something that I mean, man, he was plagued injuries the entire last season, right? And now it comes out in the offseason here, he's getting dual ankle surgeries. That's wow. Interesting right there coming out of Chris Middleton and the Bucks there. So just a little tidbit there on the Bucks and Randall Cobb, and just a little bit of breaking stories, I guess, to start out the day there. But I mean, with that, I'm going to move on. We're going to get into some baseball talk. I want to get to some baseball today. Not a whole lot happening outside of baseball. I still haven't seen Jordan Love sign a contract, so not much to talk about in that department. Not much to talk about Packers, Badgers. We're going to get into it here pretty soon, talking more Badgers. But right now, I want to talk baseball. I want to talk the average price of a hot dog at every stadium. That's what I want to talk. That's what everybody needs to know in this world, is how much a hot dog is going to cost when they go down to the ballpark, right? And I saw a list. They came out with a list of all the teams and all the prices of a hot dog when you go to the ballpark. Okay? So, I mean, you had to guess your spectrum. If you had to guess, what's the cheapest hot dog you can buy? What's the cheapest one that you can get? And what is the most expensive ballpark to buy a hot dog, right? If you had to guess the dollar amounts, though, what would you guess, right? And my immediate thought was, when I saw the title for this list, I was like, oh, they're going to be like $3 to probably about $6, right, for a hot dog. I mean, a hot dog ain't, it's not much. It's not a brat, right? It's not a brat down at American Family Field. It's definitely not a brat. It's definitely not a hamburger. It's a hot dog, like the mystery meat. This is the mystery meat we're talking about right now. How can you charge a lot for a mystery meat that we don't even know what it is? So I click into the list, and the lowest priced hot dog at a stadium that you can buy is actually home. It's in Toronto, the Blue Jays. The hot dogs there run you about $2.55 for a hot dog. That's an expensive hot dog, if you ask me. That's like, I'd rather carry one in my handbag than try to buy one there. But $2.55. When you think of it, grand scheme of things, not terrible. Not terrible. You're getting a mystery meat. You got to remember that. You're getting a mystery meat. This should be like $1. Like, I love, my favorite days at American Family Field are dollar hot dog days. At that point, I don't care what I'm eating. I'm eating some random meat inside of a bun. I'm just going to get over it. So, $2.55 at the Blue Jays. If you had to guess the most expensive place to eat a hot dog, the most expensive place, the Oakland A's. $8.39 for a hot dog. $8.39. That's California for you. That's California. Because, I mean, you look, it's got to be the California thing, right? Well, I don't know. Okay, so on that list, we have the $8.39 is the Oakland A's, but you look at the $8 hot dogs. You have the Dodgers, the Padres, and the Angels are also in there. So you got them, but then you also look in the $8 range, you have the Cubs, you also have the Nationals, and you have the Tampa Bay Rays. $8 for a hot dog in Chicago. Wow. You can't even afford to eat hot dogs down there. I thought it was expensive to get a beer. I thought it was expensive to get a drink. Even a water. Water is ridiculous. I was told, I can't remember when it was that we went down to watch the Brewers down there, and one of the security guys, I think it was, or one of the concession people was just like, yeah, that's an expensive water. He said, we got filler stations around here for when it's done. Don't go get a new one. Just fill it at the filler station. Like, just basically telling you, not worth it. Not worth the dollar amount to go buy a new one. Just go fill it at the station and you'll be good. You'll be good. So, I mean, it's crazy prices for everything, but this is crazy. $8 for a hot dog. $8 for a hot dog. The Brewers are sitting there. They are at $3.99 for a hot dog. About $4, roughly. $4 for a hot dog there at American Family Field. They're with the Twins, the Royals, the Mariners, and the Braves. Braves also have $3.99 hot dogs. I wonder if that has to do with, that doesn't make sense, though, because the Dodgers are charging $8 for a hot dog, and they have pretty good attendance down there. Cubs stink. Maybe that's why they got it. The Oakland A's, they gotta charge $8.39 because they don't make a lot of hot dogs. So, yeah. They don't get a lot of fans in there. They got to charge $8.39 to try to make their money back. Otherwise, they wouldn't make nothing on anything around that ballpark. They have to charge an arm and a leg for everything you got. I mean, just an interesting list. Just an interesting list that I saw, and I just had to. I didn't know. Maybe people out there already knew about the prices of hot dogs. Crazy stats. Crazy stats. That's all I can say there. So, with that, before we keep on going on with the MLB talk, I want to get to some sponsors of the show here quick. First, Game Day Supply in Alaska. Do you have a sports club or team? Are you looking for some sweet custom uniforms or apparel? Check out the awesome crew at Game Day Supply in Alaska to help your team get the sweetest gear. Find them on Facebook at Game Day Supply or online at GameDaySupply.net. Also, Sport and Spine Clinic in Greenwood, Wisconsin. If you've been injured recently, whether it was at work, whether you were playing with the kids, whatever it was, you were injured, you felt something pop, tear, whatever it was, and you went to a doctor and they said you need to see a physical therapist. Get yourself down and see Chad at Sport and Spine Clinic in Greenwood, Wisconsin. He'll get you right. He'll get you back to work, back playing with the kids, back doing whatever you were doing and feeling better than ever. Sport and Spine Clinic in Greenwood. Sports Scene, sports cards, and memorabilia, located in the Marshfield Mall in Marshfield, Wisconsin. Get down there and see Al. He has everything you need, from sporting cards, memorabilia, jerseys, model stock cards. He's got it all. Sports Scene in Marshfield. Marshfield Motor Speedways, located just 3 miles outside of Marshfield on County Road H. Get down there this summer. Tons of family fun for all ages. Great food, great drinks, great atmosphere. Nothing better than a great summer day or night down there at the track. Pittsfield Farm and Home Center. At the store, they serve you anything from hydraulic hoses to red roses. Stop in and see the awesome crew at Pittsfield Farm and Home Center in Pittsfield, Wisconsin. And also your hometown team, Century 21 Gold Key Realty. Call Peggy Sue or Anna to find your dream home, or if you're looking to sell. Find them on Facebook at your hometown team, Century 21 Gold Key Realty, or stop in and see them at their location in Marshfield, Wisconsin there. But with that, stick with the MLB talk, looking at the MLB power rankings leading up into this second half of the season here. And, I mean, we've seen this basically all season long. Philadelphia Phillies remain in the top spot, but this is where the shakeup happens. The Cleveland Guardians sitting in the number 2 spot right now in the power rankings, followed by the Baltimore Orioles. Then we see the New York Yankees in the 4th spot. The Los Angeles Dodgers in the 5, the Brewers in the 6th spot right now, followed by the Braves, then the Twins, then the Mariners, then the Houston Astros, rounding out the top 10 there. I mean, you look at the standings, you look at this power rankings, there's not much to complain about. There really isn't much to complain about between the two, because looking at the standings, the Phillies have the best record in baseball. The Guardians are right behind them there. And then you have Baltimore. And then the Yankees have fallen back a little bit behind Baltimore in the division there and in the, overall grand scheme of things there. So they have fallen out of it. The Dodgers, they remain solid. Not crazy, right? Not crazy. That NL West has slowly starting to tighten up there, just like the Central is. That West is tightening up out there. And the Dodgers, they still hold their lead, though. They still hold their lead. They're playing well. Brewers, they've held stagnant, seems like, at the 6th spot for a long time now. And not that it's not well-deserved. The Brewers have played themselves to be the 3rd best team in the NL, and rightfully so, they would be in that 6th spot, most likely. And unless if an AL team came up, took them over, right? Unless if an AL team came up, took them over, I don't foresee them being any lower than that 6th spot there. Outside of that, Atlanta Braves, they've stuck it together. Even with losing Strider and Acuna, they've stuck it out, and they still remain, I believe, 8 games back or so of the Phillies there in that East, the NL East there. Playing good baseball. Chris Sale has pitched on another level. Austin Riley's been solid for him, along with LBs and Michael Harris. They've had, good contributions from players without Ronald Acuna being out there. So Braves still a force, not a force to be reckoned with anymore, but still a team that can give you problems. They can still pose problems to opposing teams. So the Braves sitting in that 7th spot. Minnesota Twins in the 8th spot right now, and they've been playing some good baseball. They have played some good baseball. Right there behind them, Guardians there. The Guardians have been playing fantastic. The Twins are just chasing them from behind right now. The Mariners in that 9th spot, they remain with a lead over the Astros, but a slim lead over the Astros right now. And this Astros team is climbing, and they're climbing fast. Pitching staff's finally getting healthy. They're starting to look good again. Josh Hader's closing down games. The lineup's hitting. This Astros team is looking like they are finally rounding into form, something that Astro fans have been waiting for all season long, right? And Yankee fans have been dreading was the possibility that the Astros would figure it out. The way that they started versus what we're seeing now, night and day difference. Night and day difference. This Astros team is playing well right now and well deserving to be in that top 10 of the power rankings there. So, staying with the grand scheme of the MLB and everywhere you want to look, there's a list of the hardest schedules in the second half and the easiest schedules in the second half there. And I was looking at the list there to see, okay, who's got the toughest stretch here in the second half of the season? I'm mainly me looking at the NL Central and saying who's got the toughest stretch of games coming up, who's going to have the easiest stretch of games. The Brewers, they basically right in the middle, 16th. They're 16th with easiest to hardest schedules remaining there. They play some good teams here and there, and then they have their, dumpster fire teams mixed in. They have rough end of the schedule. We talked about that the other day when Aaron was on here from Brutally Honest Sports. When he was on here, we were able to discuss, the Brewers, Cardinals remaining schedules, who is going to have it easier, who is going to have a rough go of things. And we looked at the Brewers, and the Brewers do have a tough end of the season schedule there, which could bode well for the Cardinals. But before that, that's where the Cardinals seem to run into a little bit of problems, a little bit of tougher teams out there, because the Cardinals are sitting at 9th on the list right now. The Pirates right above them in the 8th spot. The Reds at the 15, and the Cubs 29th. They actually have the second easiest schedule just behind the San Francisco Giants there in that second half. The Red Sox have the hardest schedule in the second half. Tampa Bay Rays, then the Guardians. 3 teams. Well, the Red Sox are slowly playing their way back into things. Right now, the Rays, they're just above 500 if they aren't just sitting at 500 right now. And the Guardians, tough schedule remaining, but this is a team that has won games all the first half of the season so far. I wouldn't expect much different in the second half. They still have a very good lineup. Pitching's been solid for them, so is the bullpen. This is a Guardians team who could pose some danger for teams, so that hardest schedule for them Doesn't really make me nervous. After that, you have the Rockies, the Marlins, Toronto, those teams, followed by the Phillies there. Could that pose a problem for the Phillies in that second half? Like, yes, the Braves aren't right behind them, but the Braves are 8 games back. They're still within shouting distance of the Phillies. Now, am I saying they're going to catch them? I'm not saying they're going to catch them. There's a possibility yet, though, is, the big thing. So that would be something that I would pay attention to there is the Phillies and see if, because the Braves have the third easiest schedule. The Phillies have the seventh hardest schedule. Put that into perspective there. So that's where I'm looking with that one there. The Orioles in the 12, Mets 21, Yankees 27 there. I mean, just little tidbits around there. But yeah, Brewers sitting at 16, so they're right in the middle there for hardest, easiest schedule there to end this season, or, well, the second half of the season here. So with that, let's stick Brewers. We went over just about everything we got to get over there in the MLB. I want to talk Brewers now. I want to look at a couple of things that we started to discuss yesterday but didn't get into them yesterday. I want to talk about that. And then they released the 2025 schedule. I want to look into the 2025 schedule and also preview this weekend's matchup there with the Minnesota Twins. So right away, I saw an article that came out, and they were talking about the Brewers. They lost the last 3 series before the All-Star break, and their manager, as in Pat Murphy, came out and said they were emotionally drained. Why are they mentally fatigued, and what can they do to get rid of that after the break? The hardest thing to hear there is that they were emotionally drained towards the end of that first half. Now, I get it. You're going to go through phases throughout a season. I'm not saying that you can't, but the thing that troubles me when I hear that is, okay, they're emotionally drained. That happens, but if that's just the first half of the season, what are we going to get at the end of the second half? Yeah, are you going to be emotionally drained from, playing 3 quarters or just under a full half of the season? Are you going to be emotionally drained when you get to that portion too? Because that's a problem. That's a problem then. I don't want to get to 2 weeks left of the regular season, and I don't want to hearing Pat Murphy say this team's emotionally drained. You don't get that big of a layoff there before you got to play playoff baseball then, if you're in the playoffs, right? It worries me. It definitely does. I mean, you can be emotionally drained, but you got to find ways. You got to find ways to win ball games. I mean, you look at those last series that the Brewers had before the All-Star break. The last year, if I would have told you what the Brewers' record was going to be at that point, and I told you they were going to be playing series against the Rockies, the Dodgers, then the Pirates, and then the Washington Nationals, what would you have told me? Oh, well, the Rockies series should be a series win. Dodgers, probably not. Pirates, series win. Nationals, series win. One of them, possibly a sweep. Everything but what I said. Everything but what I said. Tied in the series to the Colorado Rockies. End up losing the series to the Dodgers. You end up losing the series to the Pirates. You end up losing the series to the Nationals. Nationals, you had to just scrape and claw and everything you had just to win one game. You won game 3 of the series. You dropped the first 2. I get it. You're emotionally drained. It's not like it's a short season. It's a long season. But when it comes to the end of the season, what's this team going to look like then? If you can't give the fire at one point, why you can just flip a switch? I've never heard of that. I've never heard of a player, a team, or anything just being able to flip a switch at different times. Turn it off when they don't want it. Flip it on when they need it, right? It's hard. And according to that, this team, if that doesn't make you nervous, I don't know what will. Emotionally drained. I mean, you could say struggling, right? Definitely struggling. Willie Adames definitely struggling in the first half at times. Rhys Hoskins definitely struggling. The pitching staff struggling in moments. The bullpen struggling in moments. Certain pitchers, certain hitters each way struggling in moments. But to collectively say that we're currently in this emotionally drained portion of the season, that worries me. That seriously worries me. I don't know what to expect out of the Brewers that second half. End of the season, I don't know what to expect. Because if this is the type of baseball they play when the going gets tough and they get a little bit tired and they can't they're mentally checking themselves out, then what? I mean, honestly, I'm looking at the division race right now, and I'm looking at the Cardinals, and I'm also looking at the Cubs. And I'm saying these are two teams that the Cubbies are slowly starting to find something, and the Cardinals found it. They found it again. Trust me, they found it watching that team right now. They found something. I don't know how they just magically figured it out, but they finally did. If you mentally check yourself out, come 2 weeks left in the season, I tell you what, this race will be over. The Cardinals will jump you. The Cubs will jump you. The emotionally drained thing irritated me when I heard that. I get you can be drained. I get it. You can be tired. Nobody said you can't. But you got to find ways to win games. That's what teams do. All teams are going to face it, right? You're telling me that the Orioles, the Yankees, every single one of them teams went through struggles, right? Both of them had struggles in the first half, just like the Brewers. Not emotionally drained. They just played some bad baseball. We're emotionally drained. I don't know if that's just bad wording that we heard. That sounds a heck of a lot better than emotionally drained. Because then you reach this whole nother spectrum of things where now we have to worry. Is this team just going to drag the last 2 weeks of the season? Are we going to have to hope that we have a big enough lead, like maybe a 10 or 15 game lead in the division, so that way when we get emotionally drained down the stretch, we can just, sit back and relax? Like, what? I don't get it. There's guys that definitely needed breaks. Brian Hudson definitely needed a break. Trevor McGill. Some of the position players, William Contreras, Christian Yelich. I mean, those guys basically playing every day. Those guys needed a break. I'll give you those. Those guys needed a break. Mentally, physically, everything in between. But it's still happening. You're telling me that that's the reason why this losing or this little bit of a struggle here, the 3 series losses in a row, and technically if you look even further with a series tie to the Rockies, I mean, 4 series without a win, without a winning series. That gets worse. If this is the worst baseball that the Brewers play, if this is the most struggle that they show, if this is it, okay, that's fine. That's good and dandy. But man, like that, when I heard that kind of set me up, set me over the edge there. I didn't like the wording. I didn't like the wording whatsoever on that one there. So it is a concern. It is a concern, and I'm hoping it's just, piss poor wording of what, they were tired. They were tired. But you got to find ways. And if you can't find ways, then we got to find somebody who can find ways. No other team checked out. No other team checked out in the last 2 weeks before the All-Star break. But apparently we did because we were emotionally drained. That's concerning. That's concerning if you ask me there. So, I mean, that was concerning. I saw a stat on the Brewers, some of their analytics for stealing bases, and that, they're a team who, according to their speed, and, they track and do stats on everything these days. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know who has the time of the day. I barely have enough time in the day to put socks on, and these guys are, coming up with time of the day to do all this crazy stuff. And they came up with these stats of guys creating, runs on the base paths, taking extra bags, everything like that. And they went to the Brewers. Excuse me. And they said the Brewers have some of the most opportunities to take bags, to take extra bags, but they don't. And so that classifies them as being one of the least aggressive teams in baseball, which is kind of surprising, as much as the Brewers run, because, you're currently sitting second in the league in stolen bases. So it's definitely surprising as much as they run. But I could see it from another factor of saying they may not be crazy running, but they're stealing bases, and their stolen base to caught stealing percentage looks a lot better with those stats. Who leads the team in caught stealing? Bryce Terang with 5. He's been caught 5 times. Outside of that, there's been guys caught 3 times on this roster. Not a lot there. So it makes you feel, pretty darn good when you look at that stat and you say to yourself, this team, they steal a lot, and they have 133 stolen bases, and they've been caught stealing 24 times. That's not a bad percentage at all. Right there. So, if they were more aggressive, let's just say they were more aggressive. Blake Perkins, Sal Frelick, Christian Yelich, you could keep going through a line of guys with a little bit of speed. Let's just say they were a little bit more aggressive. And they stole 20 more bags. Even 10. Let's go with 10. They're at 143. But if they're a little bit more aggressive, now we have to add on to that caught stealing. So now instead of 24, we're up to 34. Or we're up to, 40, right? You have a little bit of a surplus then of caught stealing because you're more aggressive on the base paths. So maybe it's not as much as the Brewers aren't aggressive on the base paths as it is the Brewers are smart on the base paths. This Brewers team has a lot of smart base runners. I don't think, truthfully, they get enough credit for that. I think Blake Perkins is a fantastic base runner. I really do. I think he's smarter than a whip when it comes to baseball in general. And I think Blake Perkins is a fantastic base runner who's smart on stealing bases when he knows the opportunity's there. And when he knows it's not there, he holds stagnant, right? You look at him, 14 stolen bases on the year, 2 caught stealing. Not a bad percentage right there. Sal Frelick, 14 stolen bases, 2 caught stealing. Bryce Terang, 30-5. Willie Adames, 12-3. William Contreras, 5-1. Yelich, 21-1 stolen bases. Joey Ortiz, 5-4 there. 7-1 for Jake Bowers, 5-1 for Andrew Monasterio. Tyler Black, 3-0 stealing base. I just looked through the line there, and not a lot of caught by any of these guys, and a lot of stolen bases. I think it's just smart base running, to be honest with you. They know their spots. They know when they have to take advantage of a situation. And they know who's on the mound. They're reading them. Quentin Berry's over there telling them what they need to know. They have the scouting reports on this guy with pickoff moves, everything like that. What the catcher's tendencies are, what the pitcher's tendencies are to throw pitches in certain spots, in an 0-2 count, 1-2 count, whatever it is. These guys are just smart. I really do think they're just smart. And that stat there, it says that they are just not aggressive, may be correct. But I attribute it a lot to smart base running by the Brewers. I really do. I think they are just smart, and they show it night in and night out. They show it there on the base paths, and that's why they are up near the top of the league in stolen bases right now. So that's a stat on stolen bases. I want to look at some stats of guys, and everybody has their own answer, and I'm going to actually reach out on Facebook tomorrow. And like I always say, down in the fan mail, on the bottom of in the bio, you can click the link, send us fan mail there. You can answer this question too. Who exceeded your expectations in the first half for the Milwaukee Brewers? Whether it was offense, defense, pitching, whatever it was. Who exceeded your expectations in the first half of the season? My number one guy And this, a lot of people might have this guy as their number one guy. So I can't say that I'm the only one to come up with this as my answer. But my number one guy on this list has got to be Bryce Durant. He has exceeded my expectations. Plus, I mean, look at his average. Let's go 277. He's exceeded my expectations by 0.0, probably about 4.0. Right? I mean, you look at Bryce Durant last season there for the Brewers, and he hit 218. He hit 218 last year. Like, Bryce Durant last season, defense was fantastic. He could never get the offense going consistently. And it really concerned me going into this season here because I was like, what are you going to get out of Bryce Durant? Right? What are you going to get out of? That was the biggest concern with the Brewers in total this year, was what was going to be these second-year guys. The rookies from last year, the rookie class. What were we going to get out of them in their second season that would be able to, propel them into, the Brewers into a division crown or whatever it is. And Bryce Durant has been nothing but short of fantastic this season. I mean, you look at him, he's got 93 hits, 131 total bases, 16 doubles, 2 triples, 6 home runs, 38 RBIs, 33 walks, 63 strikeouts, 30 stolen bases, 5 caught stealing, 277 average. He's got an OPS of 731. And you know what? Honestly, the best thing about Bryce Durant is, and a lot of people might not agree with me on this, he has said piss off to the launch angle thing. He has said piss off to it, and he is a ground ball guy. And I like that. I like Bryce Durant's ability to just shoot the ball on the ground and beat it out or shoot it through a hole. I love that. He has this level swing where he's not trying to launch it. He's just baseball. It's like they played this way for a long time, and then we went around and we changed it. I love it. I have loved what I've seen out of Bryce Durant in the first half. I cannot wait. I'm hoping that this guy is nothing short of fantastic in the second half. I cannot wait to watch it there. But another guy, and I talked about him a little bit there yesterday, was Tobias Myers. Tobias Myers in the month of June and July has been nothing short of fantastic. 2 8-inning appearances, the only rookie to go 8 innings this season, and he's done it multiple times. You look at his numbers here over the last 7 games, he's got a 1.79 ERA there. I mean, just fantastic. Just fantastic from what we've seen out of him here. 9 earned runs over that stretch. Gotta love it. Gotta love what we've seen at Tobias Myers. He's had a couple of shaky starts with a couple of them giving up multiple runs, and he just battles. He battles. He finds ways. His location's been good. The breaking stuff's working again. I mean, the fastball, he's trusting the fastball to be able to dot corners and not leaving it over the plate. Tobias Myers has been great in this first half for the Brewers, and I can't wait to see more from him in the second half. Brian Hudson's another guy for me. Brian Hudson has been downright just fantastic in this first half of the season for the Brewers. Unexpected from Brian Hudson. Truthfully, I didn't know much about this guy when the Brewers got him. And right now he's pitching with a 1.49 ERA in 33 games. He's got 11 holds, 48 innings pitched, 24 hits, 8 earned runs. He's given up 6 home runs, and he has, looking at his strikeouts, 53 strikeouts. Opponents are hitting 146 against him. That is fantastic. So that is one of my guys coming out of the bullpen there, Brian Hudson. I've loved what he's done in that bullpen for the Brewers. Trevor McGill's another guy out of the bullpen. I mean, we kind of knew what to expect out of Trevor McGill. He's a hard-throwing right-hander. He gets after. He's got some decent breaking stuff. And thrown into a closer's role that he wasn't fully, I don't believe he was fully prepared to just turn into the closer on this team. And he's been good. I mean, he's been good. 18 saves and 20 opportunities for Trevor McGill. I can live with that. That's a solid performance, solid outings from Trevor McGill there. In 32 games, he has a 2.05 ERA. He's got 37 strikeouts. He's given up 2 home runs, 7 earned runs. But, I mean, looking at the saves, 18 saves in 20 opportunities. Trevor McGill has been great, and I can't wait for that second half, especially with Devin Williams coming back. McGill can move up to like an 8th inning role, which even makes that bullpen for the Brewers even deeper and better moving forward. So I love that. Jared Koenig, though he is injured, I know he's injured, which sucks because Jared Koenig has been fantastic for the Brewers this season here. He pitched himself into a 1 point. I believe that ERA was sitting at 1.66. 1.66 ERA, 38 innings. He's got 36 strikeouts. Opponents are hitting 194 against him there in 29 appearances. He started 5 games as the opener. 27 hits, 7 earned runs, 3 home runs given up. Jared Koenig has been fantastic. The location's great. The velocity's up for him. Hopefully he comes back from this injury, and, he just propels and keeps moving forward because Jared Koenig is a special arm that I believe the Brewers could use in a 6th inning role. And, you get him in there in the 6th inning. You have a 7th inning of Brian Hudson. You have an 8th inning of Trevor McGill, and you have a 9th inning of Devin Williams. That's a solid 4 right there. That's a solid 4. And, that's could turn into a gauntlet for teams to try and hit against those guys. So your starter only has to get you to the 6th. That would be fantastic. So hopefully we see Jared Koenig come back. Another guy that I just wanted to mention in my players that have performed well in this first half, Joey Ortiz. Ortiz has battled injuries, but before that, hitting .264, currently with 13 doubles, 2 triples, 7 home runs, 37 walks. Looking at his hits, 60 hits on the season there. Home runs, we already got that there, 29 RBIs. He has been just, from what I heard from him coming from the Orioles, you were not knowing what you were getting in Ortiz. You were mostly looking at DL Hall. Ortiz has been great. He should have been in more of a conversation for the third base all-star spot. Wasn't at the time. The average did drop a little bit when he came back, and he got injured again there. But Ortiz, if he can stay healthy, it's the defense, the offense. Ortiz is fantastic, and he plays a great, like I said, plays a great third base. So gotta love what we've seen out of Joey Ortiz here in the first half there of the season. So that's what we got for our guys who have exceeded expectations, my expectations in the first half. I'd love to hear yours, though. Definitely reach out to me, send us fan mail there, leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, wherever you're listening, YouTube. Definitely leave your comment on there of who has exceeded your expectations in the first half there. But with that, we're running long today. I want to look at the weekend series here quick with the Twins before we get out of here for the day. So the Brewers, they're going to be taking on the Minnesota Twins here on Saturday. A quick little 2-game series there between the Brewers and the Twins in Minneapolis. First game of the series will be between Lopez and to be decided for the Brewers. We do not know who will start for the Brewers. That'll be a 6:10 start there from Minneapolis, from the Twins Stadium there. And then coming up on Sunday, we'll see Ryan. We'll see a little bit of Joe Ryan from the... played for the Marlins at one point, I thought. No, I don't think so. He played for the Twins. He's been with the Twins the whole time. I'm thinking of a different guy. I can't remember his name now. But Joe Ryan for the Twins there, 6-6 with a 3.53 ERA. Brewers haven't decided their pitching going into the second half here. So we'll see who is going to be the starter for the Saturday game, and then the Sunday game, that will be a 12:05 start there for that one. We'll see. We are just going to play a wait and see time there for the Milwaukee Brewers there. So with that, I just saw a notification pop up. Richard Jefferson said his Team USA's best lineup is LeBron, Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, and Joel Embiid. Dude, any list that doesn't include Steph Curry is just off. Come on. Steph Curry. KD doesn't even have to be there. We don't even need LeBron. I'm going to be honest with you. If he wants to be there and be a coach, be my guest. But otherwise, don't really need him. There. So with that, that's about all I got for today. that's wrapping up the week. Wrapping up the week. It has been a fantastic week. Great week of sports. Can't wait for baseball to be back this weekend. Should be some good baseball. Brewers, Twins, a couple of teams who have been playing good this year, squaring off there for a little border battle. I don't know if you can call that a border battle in baseball because it's called that in basketball. I don't know if you can call it a border battle. Battle of the border. The Western Border Battle. There you go. The Western Border Battle there. So with that, that's about all I got for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I always say, leave a comment, leave a review. Definitely go into the bio, click send us a text message. You can send a message directly to the show where we can see it. Talk about what you had to say on the show here. Leave a review, leave a comment, whatever you got to do out there. Apple, Spotify, wherever you're listening. And definitely, please, if you can, share the show. Let people know, hey, check out this show because maybe you like it, maybe you don't. Maybe you think I'm just spewing baloney out here and you just want somebody else to hear it too. Definitely do that too. And then have them leave a review too. That'd be great. That'd be great there. So with that, that's about all I got for today. This has been Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Friday and your weekend coming up here, your great weekend. But until I talk to you guys again on Monday, deuces.
Yeah, oh my Lord, watch me sway. Darkness falls and we all pray, hoping for the light of day. Down to the river I have held the devil's hand, felt the weight of my own sin, burdened by the heart of man. Down to the river, down to the river.